I know it's a shock to you, probably you don't even to this moment know who they are because it's been a secret. But the two people we're inducting tonight are K9CT and KM3T. So I'm going to turn the mic over. We're going to have some fun with Craig first. And I'm going to have Anthony, AB9YC, make some introductory comments. And the microphone is yours.
Thank you, John. As president of SMC, I get to talk about SMC, and I get to talk about contesting. Tonight, I get to talk about one of my members, Craig. He was first licensed as a teenager in the late 60s. He attended Bradley University and received a degree in electrical engineering. He also went on to found his own company, Thompson Electronics Company. Like many of us, life, work, and family took over and didn't leave a lot of time for amateur radio. In 2000, Craig rekindled his efforts for DXing and contesting. He joined several DXpeditions around the world, giving us all new ones. And he came to love what I refer to as the fun of the run, or what some people call being a rate junkie. And when you're on the end of a DX pileup, you get serious rate. If chasing DX is fun, being DX is a lot more fun. Unfortunately, like most of us realize, there's not expeditions to places like this very often, especially these days. This is where Craig embraced his enthusiasm for contesting and began pursuing contesting. You don't get the same pileup rates, but there are major contests during the contest season every few weeks, an opportunity to get rate. There's even the weekly contests like the CWTs, where you can get decent rate if only for a short time. Craig has built a world-class contesting station. He looked at other contest stations and decided, I want to make a world-class contest station, and that's what he's done. He now operates most of the 48-hour contests, and he operates normally as multi-two, inviting teams of operators, both experienced and more junior operators. Craig feels that getting the junior operators involved is a way to expand their contesting experience. This is Craig helping the playing field improve. One of the things that Craig has done is he has embraced the Flex radio as his radio of choice. He used his experience operating and contesting as a way to offer suggestions, provide opportunities for improvement of the Flex radio to make it a better radio, but more importantly, a better contest radio. For all of us out here who use Flex radios for contesting, we owe at least part of our success to the contributions Craig has made to that radio. Interestingly though, Craig is not just interested in the technological aspects of contesting. He has spent countless hours helping his alma mater, Bradley University, set up their contest station with the Bradley University Amateur Radio Club. He also mentors the operators in contesting and contest operating, and even invites them to his station for operating. Craig was also instrumental in establishing and setting up what is the North American Collegiate Championship. This is a contest within a contest that is held concurrent with the NAQPs. How many of you are in the NAQPs? Oh, come on, you all are, right? Anyway, he inspired other colleges to get involved and involve their contest stations so that the North American Collegiate Challenge Championship is the colleges competing head-to-head against other colleges. This is Craig inspiring the next generation of contesters. Interestingly, Craig's enthusiasm is apparent anytime you see him, whether it's at an event like this or at another convention. You'll see Craig standing in the hall, and he'll be talking to somebody. Anybody with a question, he'll talk to anybody. And there'll be a gallery of people standing around him, everybody listening to what Craig has to say. It's interesting because someone always brings up field day, and Craig's eyes will light up. The next thing you hear him talking about is antenna placement. I got antenna, how close they are. I got phase noise. I got intramod. I've got filters. And everybody's writing everything down. Every time he mentions, well, this radio doesn't play well at field day, people are writing that stuff down. That's interesting. That's Craig helping inspire contesting and other people, sharing his knowledge with people who will listen to help improve their station. But Craig is interesting in that one time I was operating his station. This is a cool story. I was operating at his station, team of 6. We all bring food, snacks, drinks, and we share it. On this particular occasion, I had brought a chocolate cake from a local chain restaurant in the area called Portillo's, whole chocolate cake. Anyway, there I was, Sunday morning, 3 a.m., 80 meters, it's that time of day. Craig wanders into the operating shack, puts his coffee down at the multiplier station next to me and goes, "You want a break? How's the band? Check 160. I'm on 80, the band's okay, I worked everybody, it's Sunday, there's nothing new. I was on 160 a few minutes ago, I scanned the band, nothing new. I called CQ, nothing new, I'm back on 80. Craig looks at me and goes, "I just had a piece of cake, want a break? How's 160? The interesting thing is, I don't know who's more enthusiastic about contesting than Craig. But it might just be Craig after he's had a piece of chocolate cake at 3 a.m. And he didn't have the cake tonight, I did. But ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you tonight the newest member of the Contest Hall of Fame, Mr. Craig Thompson, K9CT.
Very humbling. Thank you very much. I'm going to operate assisted because I don't want to forget anything. So I have notes in front of me. First of all, thank you very much, Anthony. Anthony serves as the president of SMC and he's doing a great job. I'd also like to really thank my fellow SMC members who are all seated over there. Thank you guys. We've had a lot of fun with the club, working with the club, and building club. Probably a lot of you know K9CT, who was a powerhouse behind SMC for a long time. I'd also like to thank CQ Magazine, the CQ Hall of Fame Committee, my parents, and I have to tell you, I don't know why, but they gave me the ARRL, Understanding Amateur Radio, Learning the Radio Telegraph Code, and the Radio Amateur's License Manual when I was 13 years old. Now, has anybody ever tried to learn CW by reading a book? I really didn't have a mentor, but for some reason they just knew I was a geek and they wanted to make that happen, and they let me put a wire from the second floor window of my house to a pole. How many have done that, right? We all did. And I'd also like to thank everyone here. I tell you, when I sit down to operate a contest, I'm working all my friends. And I smile every time I work you guys. And don't you feel that way? Isn't it just like a big get-together just like this is? And that's the way I think about it right now. I'm here with friends. I'd also like to thank my wife, who supports my whims, but I have to tell you, I push the limit. And I apologize every time, but she's just a super supporter. And she's starting to come to all of our parties after the contest. She gets to know all of the guys and she really loves it. Anyhow, I never imagined being inducted. As I observed many of these introductions and members over the years, they're all extraordinary people. It is humbling to be a member of that group. I'm sure that many of this room could be standing here as well as I, and maybe you will be next year. I have to tell you, I've enjoyed contesting all my life. When I was first licensed in 1967, I had my R55A, who, you know, it's a broadband filtered radio. You listen to the whole band. All I heard was CQNR, 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 and I had no idea. I had 5 words a minute. And so, where was Google when you needed it? In 67. But anyhow, I figured out it was a contest. And of course, at that time, we all logged every CQ. Right? You guys did? We had somebody here from the FCC, you logged your CQs, right? And anyhow, in those days, I knew a few hams, but not very many, and contesting wasn't anything I really encountered until I stumbled on field day. I'm sure field day has been the trigger that you had maybe to get you into contesting. Anyhow, from the time I was licensed, I did all the same distractions you did, whether it was school, sports, rock and roll band, cars, girls. Somehow I made it to college. And I really wanted to get into electronics, so electrical engineering was the way to go. I have to tell you, the first thing I did was stumble upon Bradley University Amateur Radio Club. It was founded in 1952. It was W9JWC, and I'm sure you can all associate with what I'm thinking about right now. You encountered all new friends. I learned about DXing and contests from all of those people that were there. And believe me, we'd sit there and we'd operate and talk about contesting. And the second you made a mistake, somebody would correct you, right? Because we were kids and we were unashamed to correct somebody and make them a better operator. So I remember that. At that time, you know, when you're in college and you make a decision, guess what? It was your decision for the first time in your life, wasn't it? And you chose to go and operate an amateur radio club. So I remember at the time when we'd get on at the club, we were competing against all of those university club stations all across the country. How many remember that? You didn't even know who was behind all of those things, but I can bet that a lot of those operators are right here, right? How many operated a college campus, right? It was amazing. And so that's what made me think we got to do something more with college kids. They're so distracted nowadays with so many things that if we could just capture their attention, make that their decision to be a contester, that we would win. So I would like to encourage you to please reconnect with your alma mater or go to your local college and university and please encourage them to operate contests. The thing you can do that, bring them over to your place. Get them excited. Some of them will take to it right away. Some of them won't. The other thing that's you have to remember is there's a big turnover in colleges every year. You know, the Connor, who's the president and is operated at my place, he just graduated. He's going to go work for Boeing. Very proud of him. But now who's going to be the next person that's the big contester at that club? You know, we have to find these kids. And these kids that I have that have participated in my station now, they're all over the country. I'm sure you could all think about what you did. You've mentored kids, and now they're contesters, and they're now a member of another contest club, and we have now new young contesters. Anyhow, I am so, I'd like to encourage you to do that. And I also would like to, I think we should all, I have to skip here. Anyhow, after, of course, my college career, I had to work and do all of the things that everybody has to do, raising kids. The thing that I kept doing was chasing DX and operating sweepstakes. I love sweepstakes. One of my favorite contests, always has been. But when the year 2000 came, I wanted to make some decisions about my life. And I'm sure you reached this time yourself. I had to make decisions about my work and how I spent my free time. You have to be thinking, where am I going with my free time at some point in my life? So I didn't want a job in 10 years. I knew that. That was one of my goals. And then the other thing is I wanted to examine all the hobbies. And I started running competitively. I didn't know you could do that, but you can. And I started playing golf, and I started doing more ham radio all the time. Well, guess what? It's 20 years later. I don't run as fast. I can't drive the ball as far. But boy, we can still sure compete in ham radio, can't we? So this is a lifelong hobby that we shall all embrace. And I'd encourage you, to keep going as much as you can. When I built my contest station in 2011, I purposely designed it to be multi-2. I wanted to invite all my friends to operate as a team together. This really opened my eyes to the fun that we can have. I just think when Joe was talking about team, he was thinking team. And unless you've operated on a team, you don't realize how important it is, do you? It's so important to have a team, and you encourage each other, and you learn from each other. So what happens, though, is if you invite a young person out and you have experienced competitors there, these kids will learn so much by listening to how you operate and watching you. You can read and you can talk, you can go to contest university, you can do everything, but you need to operate. And you need to listen to experienced operators operate and experience that. So I'd encourage you to please invite young people to operate at your station. I have one other thing that I have a passion for, and several of us have worked on this, is the thought of where we could go with contesting. And I really think that we really should try to work on getting real-time contesting. That's where the young people are. They don't understand exactly why we have to wait 3 to 6 months for results. We have the technology, and we have the people and the talent to get this done. I'd sure like to see us do log checking real time, see dashboards where you can see how the contest is going, and at the end, celebrate who's won. Just have a huge celebration. We'd all know that's what WRTC does. It's practically real time. So I would encourage you to please check that out. If we could do that, I believe that we'll have more contestants, and that it will also add excitement for the young person or the newer person to ham radio. As you can see, I am very passionate about ham radio and contesting. I appreciate the recognition that you've given me, but all of us are winners when we encourage and mentor more hams to contesting. Thank you very, very much for this honor.
Thank you. Step over here, Craig. So it's my honor and privilege here on this date in May 2022 to provide and offer Craig Thompson, K9CT, in recognition of his extraordinary and unselfish contribution to the sport of amateur radio contesting. You are now a member of the CQ Contest Hall of Fame.